It's actually time for Cherylyn Bands. Hi jockeys, Cherylyn Bands here. So I'm back with another stories time for you. I know you all love every certain sort of thing that I do, but a lot of you love my stories time. So I hope you will stay and watch everything what I've got to say to you. So back in March this year, one of my best friends, a Frenchman, Francois Sagat, he came to Sydney, all the way from French. He's absolutely gorgeous. He's got this beautiful, unusual, striking head tattoo, but the rest of his body's covered in all weird tattoos. I absolutely love him. Beautiful body, covered in muscles, big, gorgeous, thick ass. He's a fucking stunner. He's done it all. He's done lots of movies. He's done modelling. He's done music. We've actually done 2 songs together. There was Tell Me, Be Yourself. Tell me if you love me. Tell me if you want me. Yeah, and there was Feel You as well. I feel you tonight. Yeah, but now he's doing his own music. His album has just come out. It's called Video Club. Go and check it out. I actually do genuinely love it. I'm not just saying it in the way what influencers all pretend what each other does is great. This album actually is great. So anyway, Francois came to Sydney and it was so good to see him again. He was actually out here for the Sydney World Pride for gay guys. Yeah, so all of the gay guys around the world, they actually come to Sydney so they can go to like all the different parties in their undies, and there's like all the concerts, they go in their swimmers sort of thing. So anyway, they were getting Francois to do this performance at this event and he invited me to it. Anyway, so his flight comes in and he gets into Sydney. So I got the train so I could go into town, and I hadn't had breakfast that day. So I actually had a up and go, up and go, up and go. Like the breakfast sort of popper, sort of like you have it as a breakfast and it's got protein of wheat bix or some certain sort of thing, but it's actually a popper, but it's like breakfast, but it's just like a chocolate milk drink, but it comes in like other flavours, not just chocolate. You can get vanilla, banana, but strawberry, vanilla as well. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So I had this up and go popper on the train. So I'm sitting on the train, sipping away at me up and go, enjoying every drop. Next minute I get a tap on my shoulder. I turn around and there's this bloke there giving me this look, and I said, yeah. And you know what he says to me? He says, I reckon that's finished. And I thought, oh, you're joking. Because it was making that noise as it gets to the end, the straw and that noise. And I just looked at him and I said, sorry? And he smugly says, your popper's finished. And I said, mate, the cunt's finished when I say it's finished. Thank you. So I turned around and I could hear him huffing and puffing like a big bloody girl. And I thought, you know what, fuck this. So I just sat there. And I just kept sucking and sucking and slurping and making that noise. And it was basically empty, but I kept doing it just to annoy the arsehole. I wasn't getting a drop of milk out of it, but it was giving me a good laugh. Anyway, so I got bored of that, so I put it down. And then the bastard behind me, he starts clapping like a fucking idiot. And then other people in the coach, they started clapping along as well like a bunch of like a bunch of idiots. So I started clapping with them. And I'm just smiling at them because I actually had another up and go in my handbag. So I took it out and I took the straw out and I put it in, and then people started to get up and leave the carriage. So I got into town and then I gave Francois a buzz and he says, can you come and meet me at my motel? And I said, no worries, mate. So I get there and he gives me a big cuddle and I gave him a big kiss on the lips, and then we had a little chat and I said, how are you, mate? And he goes, yeah, not good, not good. So he told me that he was so nervous about doing his show for World Pride, and he goes, can you do it with me? I just laughed at him. He said, no, please, can you please do it with me? I said, come on, mate. Everyone's forked out to see you. They don't want to see me. I'm nothing. I'm no one. And then he actually said to me that I have unique charm and a grace what defies age. So that was nice of him. Anyway, I said to him, I said, look, mate, I'm not doing your show with you, but I've done lots of shows myself. I know what I'm doing, so I'm going to help you. So for a few hours, we just come up with ideas. We just went over it and over and over it and practice. And we were doing like this tea party sort of thing. And then we actually went down to the theatre where his gig was. And fuck me dead, it was the same place what Pink did a show. You know the singer Pink? She does Say What? Oh, na 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 na. I'm gonna start a fight. So what? I'm still a rock star. I've got my rock moves, and I don't need you. Guess what? Know that one? So what? So he was actually doing the concert at the same place what Pink did it. So we get in his dressing room and I kept making him rehearse it over and over again. I was giving him ideas left and right. Wink to the audience, give him a smile. I told him do the fanny liquor sign, but I don't think they have that in French. Anyway, so I grabbed him by the face and I said, Francois, I believe in you. And then I gave him a big kiss on the lips, you know, like a mum sort of thing. And then I closed his door and left him to it. So just out in the thing, I saw these two dancers, two sexy boys, sort of. And I looked at them, I said, hello. And they said, hi. And I said, you two fellas want to get in on the action? And they said, what do you mean? I said, right, go into Francois' dressing room, be very nice, introduce yourselves, and do whatever he tells you to do. So they went in and then I went out into the audience, surrounded by all these blokes. I don't know what I was expecting, but they were all dressed like sluts, wearing like the knickers with the bum missing, so you could see everything. And they were all doing all like gay stuff, like to each other. I was just hanging out at the front of the stage, and then one of the boys, the gay guys, comes up to me and says, oh my God, Chucky. He knew exactly who I was, and I said, hello, Chucky boy. You know, because that's what I call my fanatics. I said, what's your name? He goes, Will. And I said, nice to meet you, Willie. And then he says to me, he goes, can I give you a cuddle? I love you so much. I said, yeah, you can give me a cuddle. So this Will, he comes over and he's all over me. And he's in my ear and he's like, love you, fucking love you. You're so beautiful. You stopped me from self-harming and this, that and the third. You're so beautiful. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, and then this gay guy starts crying. He's like, no, you don't even know. I'm so grateful. You're so beautiful. I love you so much. It was a little bit weird because the whole time his thing was digging into me. So I said, Will, you're right, mate. That's what I'm here for, okay? I said, have a good night, okay? And I gave him a kiss on the lips. So then the moment finally arrives and Francois, out he comes, he's strutting on stage. So because we come up with this like a tea party idea sort of thing, he comes out and he sets up the table and he's got his bickies and he's being a little cheeky boy, having his bickies and cakes and whatnot. You know, so then out comes the other two boys and so they do their little tea party set up and the whole thing went to plan. So he did everything, put the whipped cream all over himself and he got the other two boys to lick it all up. And the crowd, they were loving it, the gay guys. They were just like, their eyes were like this and their jaws were like they were loving every minute of it. So they finished their show and he took a bow, blew the audience a kiss, and then he looked at me, he's like, come backstage. So I went back and I said, you had nothing to worry about. And I gave him like a big kiss on the lips and I just said to him, I said, you nailed it. The crowd absolutely loved it. I could tell he was really grateful for my help. So we had a few drinks and we had a bit of a dance. in his dressing room, and then he wanted to go back to his motel. So we got back to his motel and it was about 6 a.m. and poor bastard, he was knackered. He just crashed out straight away, and I just wanted to make sure he was all right. So I just sat in the chair across from his bed and I was just watching him sleep. He actually talks a lot in his sleep, but it's all in French, so I can't really tell you what he was saying. So anyway, I nodded off. I had a little nap myself, and then when I woke up, he was still asleep. So I let him have a little bit of a sleep in, and then I woke him up. He said, I want coffee. I said, how about I take you for an Australian coffee? Because as we all know, they do not know a thing about making coffee in French. We walked to Oxford Street to get a Australian coffee, but a couple of things. There was no where open to get coffee, and also because it was the World Pride, there was gay guys all over the place, okay? And because of Francois' tattoo, they all knew exactly who he was, and they were looking at him and they were waving at him, and some people were taking photos. I said to Francois, I said, are you right, mate? And he goes, yeah, but I could tell he wasn't right. So then a bit further down the street, I noticed there was these two twinks and they were taking photos of us. I said, put your hood on, mate, to cover his tattoo. And then I grabbed him by the arm and I started leading him down this side street. So then as we started going off, I could see these twinks scurrying towards us, and they come up and they're like, are you Francois Sagat? And he was lovely. He just gave him a little smile and nodded his head, and they're like, oh, can we get a photo? And I said, yeah, you can get a photo with us, but you got to do it quickly because if everyone sees, then they're going to want one as well. So he gives me his phone. He says, can you take it? So in actual fact, these twinks didn't give a toss about a photo with me, but I just played along. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. So they walk over to Francois and they start feeling him up and squeezing him. And I've got this twink's phone and I'm like pretending to take photos. I'm like, yeah, that one's good. Yeah, one more, come on. Yep, another one, come on. But I was actually going through the camera roll and I was deleting all the photos they had taken before. But because I'm not an idiot, I went to the deleted folder and I deleted everything from that as well. And then I quickly turned it off and I went, all right, mate, here you go. And I gave him back his phone and he said, thank you. And I said, you're right. And so I grabbed Francois and we walked and we just went down one of the back streets. Francois is a human being, okay? If you want a picture with a French icon, then go to French and get a photo with the fucking Eiffel Tower. Poor bastard just wanted a coffee. So I took him away from Oxford Street and we went down to George Street. And there wasn't really World Pride stuff happening down there. It was just normal straight people everywhere. And I took him down to this cafe on George Street called Starbucks, and so we went in and I said, right, 2 of the large size, the second large size cappuccino, and also 2 cheesecakes as well. It was my shout. I paid for it. So we get the coffees and we plop down and we start sipping and, having a chit chat, and then I noticed there was more twinks, different twinks, and they were like whispering about Francois, and I didn't want to freak him out, and I said, mate, do you just want to eat these cheesecakes in the park, in Hyde Park? He goes, oh yeah, that'd be nice. So we take our coffee and our cakes and we walk to Hyde Park. It wasn't very far, and we found like a nice little bench and we sat down and we started eating, and they're actually quite delectable as well. Next minute, over comes this bastard on a skateboard. So he comes up behind us on the bench, behind Francois, and he pokes him in the arm. Francois, cool as a cucumber, glances at this guy and then goes back and has more cheesecake. And so this guy pokes him again. I said, what do you want, mate? And then he goes, I had it first. And Francois said, pardon? Oh, pardon? And this bloke takes his beanie off. He says, I had it first. Because he had a similar tattoo like Francois. And Francois just rolling his eyes. He eats his cheesecake. He says, that's incredible. And then the bloke starts poking Francois again. He's like, I had it first. I had it before you. And I had enough at this point. I said, can you fuck off, mate? And then he went to poke Francois again. And I grabbed him by the arm and I said, fuck off, you gronk. And then I threw his hand away. But then the idiot comes up and he actually pushes me. And I just thought, are you fucked in the head? And then before I could even realise what happened, Francois had punched this guy. He's on the ground growling. And then Francois was like, don't you touch my friend. You know, so this guy gets up and he grabs his skateboard and he throws it at Francois. So then these two actually like start brawling and throwing punches and pushing and throwing each other around. Then next minute we hear police sirens. This bloke, I never seen it so quick. He gets on his skateboard and he just like wheeled off. Suddenly, this police paddy wagon tearing through the park, sirens screaming like banshees. The cops zoom right past us. Francois almost shit his fucking dats. So the paddy wagon goes and comes around and cuts off the bloke on the skateboard. The bloke turns around and starts going the other way. One of the cops got out of the wagon and shot the guy on the skateboard with the taser. So this guy comes crashing down on the ground like a sack of shit, being electrocuted, and you should have heard the noises coming out of him. It was like he was like, you know, being possessed by a demon sort of thing. And Francois, he was living for the spectacle. He was laughing, he was loving it. Anyway, so they apprehended this arsehole and chucked him in the back of the paddy wagon, and then they came up to us to get statements. I said, mate, my friend, he's a Frenchman. He comes from French. He doesn't actually speak Australian very well, so they basically just let me tell him what happened, which was good because I didn't want Francois to get in trouble. What if they sent him home or something? But yeah, it turns out this prick had actually been harassing people for days during all the World Pride shit. So basically, Francois and I were instrumental into putting a stop to crime. Anyway, so it started to rain, so the cops were like, we don't want to keep you, and they just gave Francois a quick look over to see if he was injured or anything, because he had a few scratches from the scuffle. The constable gave me his card, and then I walked Francois back to his motel in the rain. It was actually quite beautiful. Picturesque, just like a couple, not a couple, but like two people what get along very well, just walking together in the rain, and it was all sort of reflective because everything was wet, and it was just a beautiful, wonderful night. I love spending time with Francois. He's just absolutely beautiful. We shared some incredible moments together. And to be honest, he's actually become one of my top 5 best friends. And like me, there's just something about his spirit what draws you in. Yeah, so got back to his motel and gave him a big hug and a kiss on the lips, and I just let him know how much he meant to me. And then I just went and got the train home. And then once I got home, I went in the backyard and I FaceTimed him for a couple of hours. If you're watching this, Francois, I love you. You are a bellum, inside and out. I love our friendship and I can't wait for our paths to cross again. Alright, so I hope everyone enjoyed this stories time. If you want to catch up with more stuff what I'm doing, you can actually add me on my TikTok site. I'm Cherylyn Barnes on that. Add me on my Instagram site at Cherylyn Barnes. It's the one with the blue tick. I've also got a new Threads account as well at Cherylyn Barnes. Who knows how that'll go. You can book me on my Cameo site if you want, and say I can do like a video message clip for you sort of thing. Also, you can actually add me on my Twitch site at Cherylyn Barnes. Hashtag French Fighter. Yeah, alright, let's leave it at that. Pussy kiss. And ciao for now, my chookies.
I come from France. Be yourself. You must dance. Yeah. I come from France. I'm so French.
Oh, that's my eye. Yeah, lovely.